This film has come along at a really good time for everyone to get perspective on how she sort of fits into pop culture.
What she stands for is so universal, and it's good. There's such goodness in her. And the character, even though she's had so many iterations since she's been around for over 75 years, those pillars of what she stands for remain constant. We felt a great responsibility to make sure that we brought Wonder Woman to the screen in the most honest way we could.
I am a fan of Wonder Woman, and so I do feel like I understand the material. And as somebody that understands Wonder Woman, loves Wonder Woman, the job becomes how do I, as a fan, stay true to what I loved and bring it into the modern era.
Bringing any character to the big screen comes with its own challenges. Wonder Woman specifically, I think the nuance of her character, the compassionate hero, is something that can get lost very easily. The guy in the alley that she knocks down, other superheroes would have a foot on his chest and said, okay, where's Ares? And the nuance for those, like, we can't do that. That's not who she is. She would come by him and kneel down and say, I'm gonna help you, but tell me where he is.
Where will I find Ares?
Patty really gave the film a very specific point of view and wanted to make sure that even though we were dealing with a film about a superhero, that it was going to be unique. And her vision was embraced by this great team of people that we put together.
Patty tells us to see every scene through the eyes of Diana. How would this thing look if you're experiencing it through her eyes?
Is this what passes for armor in your country?
Every scene has been imbued by that, and it's a really refreshing, exciting way to approach a superhero film.
It has been wonderful to see the world through Wonder Woman's eyes. It's almost like some days were so bright. And so that, to me, has been wonderful because it has left me less cynical and maybe a bit more excited about things.
Often we'd find Patty sort of acting out the scenes from Wonder Woman's point of view. Before she would tell us what she wanted, she would kind of run around on stage and be gal for a minute. And that's infectious, and that spread to all of us.
Her sense of wonder herself, not only as a fan but as a filmmaker, seemed to work hand in hand.
She really loved the story we were telling. It was someone that she grew up with and looked up to.
I feel so honored to be making a movie using a superhero who stands for something that important. And the 7-year-old in you, like, heart skips a beat and almost wants to cry because it's hitting that visceral note that you didn't even remember you had after working on something for so long. And you go, oh, it's Wonder Woman!
She has this thing inside of her that just pushes her and make her want to do good and want to be proactive and want to help and want to do better. Fighting would be her last option.
Often Batman and Superman, they're like brothers, you know. They're really different, but obviously they're sort of on the same side, and they tried to reconcile that, and she's the sister in the middle going, guys, we've got to think of a solution to this, not just wade in.
She's kind of a voice of reason in their very focused worldviews. She just might take more into consideration as far as a superhero goes. She might bring the best of both of those characters, plus an energy that they don't have.
Also, she works on them to bring out their better nature. She works with Superman to kind of ground him and take him down a notch from his starry-eyed idealism, because she's been around for a long time. She really knows the history of the world and how people can behave. And Batman, she continuously brings a little bit more into the light to try to break him out of his own shell, to be more of a team player, to also discover elements of humanity that he has willfully discarded.
They just complement each other very, very well. That's why they're the Trinity, because they work so well together.
Action!
I really have not been on anything that has had quite the insane breadth and depth of craftsmanship as this. We were doing one scene out in no man's land, and there's smoke at all times out there, and at one point there I saw blue smoke, And I turned to Patty and I said, well, does the blue smoke have any reference to anything in reality? She said, no, we chose the color of what the smoke would look like because it was going to read a different way on film and also interact with everybody's costumes in a certain way that I just liked, which I thought was extraordinary. You know, that's a potentially very small detail that many people would kind of brush aside, that Patty is investing time and energy thinking about.
I had the driving attachment to it in the first place to help guide me in trying to do the movie that I would have wanted to see. And so that's the formula I was always working on. Does this feel like Wonder Woman? Is this a beautiful movie? Are we aiming as high as we can possibly aim? And how can this movie be honoring Wonder Woman and the story and all of the incredible artists who made this all possible?
Uniforms are interesting because everyone thinks they are uniforms, but actually if you look at photographs or reference pictures, everyone's slightly customized their costume.
And for me, that's one of the most important departments in the whole film, because I think that's the way you get a superhero film to have its feet in reality.
Lindy Hemming is a legendary, most incredible costume designer with such an incredible eye and gift for costume and character and detail. And, you know, did something very impressive here, designing not only these incredible clothing for Diana and all of this world, but also the Amazons and creating an entire culture.
In order to design costumes, and when I say design costumes, I don't mean draw a fashion drawing or draw something and making it. I mean, when you design a costume, you need to know what it is you're trying to say or what it is you're trying to show the audience.
Hello, welcome back. Okay, so today I have something very special to share. These are the Amazons, or as I like to call them, my sisters. Fire! We have Hippolyta and her sister Antiope. Now, Diana's mother is Hippolyta, Antiope is her aunt. So it would appear that Diana grew up amongst some very impressive women. And this is Menelope, Artemis, and Philippus. I don't always get the names right. It's all Greek to me. It's one of my jokes.
We give thanks to the gods for giving us this paradise.
The Amazons reside on a hidden island called Themyscira. It's so hidden we know the name. These women are strong and brave, and they fight with more than their principles, wondering how an English secretary might fare in the Amazonian army. I feel like we should give that a try, shouldn't we? Where do you think you're going? Hippolyta is not only Diana's mother, but she is also the queen of Themyscira. But then if she's the queen, then that makes Diana... Okay, Diana Prince, I just got that. I just got it. Am I allowed to get it?
Hello, Mother.
Now, Diana wasn't the type of child who played with marbles, and Antiope wanted to train her from a very young age. Well, this caused quite the family drama. It was sister versus sister and queen versus general, and it really actually would make a tantalising serial.
You will train her harder than any Amazon before her.
So between Antiope and Hippolyta, Diana was equipped with all the skills she needed to strike out on her own and enter the world of man. That's what she said. Hello and welcome back. My friend Diana spoke a great deal about her very important mission to defeat Ares, the god of war.
I will show you the way off the island, and you will take me to Ares.
Deal.
I always assumed it was a bit more of a fairy story, but what on earth do I know? I think it turned out a bit differently to what Diana was told. Mankind wasn't so great and so decent, I could have told her that. But this is the legend that Diana believed.
A story of our people and my days of battle.
The legend goes that Zeus created man and woman in his image, and that they were good and decent and kind, and then Zeus had a scoundrel of a son, apparently, called Ares. Ares infected man and woman with jealousy and selfishness and turning people against one another until the whole world was so ravaged by war that humankind was nearly wiped out. So the gods then created the Amazons to protect man and turn their hearts back towards good. And that worked for a little while, but the peace didn't last. So Diana's mother, Hippolyta, led a revolt to free the Amazons. Huzzah! I can see where Diana got her spirit.
As Amazons, this is our duty.
So when Steve told Diana of the Great War, she believed it meant Ares had returned, and therefore it was her responsibility to seek him down and destroy him. Simple pimple. Better her than me. I didn't even understand the story. Hello again! Today I have got a collection of really special photographs that were taken during the war. Not by me, I was in the office. My boss at the time, Steve Trevor, was fond of missions that weren't strictly on the books. And when he went out on these excursions, he enlisted a team of gentlemen who were not at all gentle.
Le voilà.
They were a tad eccentric, to put it delicately. So we're going to go through those photos. This is a well-thumbed part of my album. First one, Samir. Sammy, he's a charmer. He can speak a gazillion different languages. I have never seen him get into something that he couldn't talk his way right on out of. The next person is Charlie. Charlie is a Scot. He's a sharp shooter. He enjoys having a drink. He sings and he plays the piano and he enjoys having another drink. But I'm sure you know the type and he's a delight. Finally, we have the Chief. The Chief. He's quite divine. He's a lot quieter. He preferred not to fight, but he was helpful in many other ways. He could toss a grenade further than anyone. He was an expert smuggler, and Steve used to say he could get you anything you needed at only a moment's notice, and he did.
Oh, wow. Where did that come from?
Oh, these boys, they were always a little rough around the edges, but when the chips were down, they could always be counted upon to do the right thing. I know Steve and Diana were both very proud of all the work that we did together. They thought I was brilliant. Hello, welcome. I met her, Candy, and you've caught me smack dab in the middle of reminiscing. I have got a collection of some of my absolute favourite photographs. Here, I have a lovely photo of Diana. Now, Diana Prince and we met under unusual circumstances. Etta Candy, I'm Steve's secretary. She told me that she was moulded out of clay, which is nice. However, I felt it incumbent upon me to help her with her outfits. Conservative, but not entirely unfun. We tried on several outfits. She came out looking quite attractive, I will say.
Lovely.
She wasn't over fond of our current trends. Ooh, I love her very much. Wanted to kill her, but the rest of my time with her was joyous. It can be difficult navigating the dangers of modern London, but Diana never had a spot of trouble handling little hiccups that came her way. She had very, very sturdy wrists. Diana brought with her some mementos from home. The sword and shield. I prefer a sensible handbag, although to be honest, I can think of several uses for a magical glowing lasso. I am single. Diana brought some light to a very dark and a very difficult time. I'm very glad to call her my friend. No one looks better fighting in a tiara. Although I haven't had a go yet, so let's not compare too soon. I am not opposed to engaging in a bit of fisticuffs should the occasion arise. Hello, welcome back. So now I'm going to have a little chat about Steve Trevor. I have a photo of him here, seedily dashing young chap. I worked for him during the war. I would take his calls and make his appointments and worry about him for weeks on end when he disappeared to some invisible mystical island full of beautiful women. So he claimed.
What is your mission?
Well, here's the thing.
Steve was a member of the American Expeditionary Forces. When I met him, as soldiers went, he did not lack for honour or bravery. I wouldn't necessarily call him obedient. There were times when I wanted to say, Stephen, you will feel the back of my hand if you do not just listen to a few words I say. However, Steve and Diana, they were really two peas in a pod. When they were together, their connection, well, it was obvious. It was embarrassing. I'm not going to lie. I didn't know where to put myself. I just kept reading Cleo's treatise, which apparently proper English women do not read. But you should, because if you read volume 6, well, you'll know why.
They came to the conclusion that men are essential for procreation, but when it comes to pleasure, unnecessary.
Well, that's neat.
So Steve had a saying that he used to like to repeat. It was something his father told him.
If you see something wrong happening in the world, you can either do nothing or you can do something. and I already tried nothing.
I would say you can't sum Steve up better than that. So glad I met him and brought him on board in my mission. Save the world.
Tonight we're going to be premiering for the home entertainment release of Wonder Woman, and we're going to do a drone light show with 300 drones. I've seen the animation on simulation. I'm seeing it live tonight. It's just a proud moment for all of us.
I think it'll be pretty impressive and so cool to see your own movie logo up in the sky. I've shot with drones as a camera, but nothing like this. I've never seen them coordinated like that. I've got my whole family. We're like, we can't wait to see.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Awesome that something can take over the whole sky like that, and the drones are so incredible. Watching it, you feel like this is the future.
So, what did you think of that Justice League video? Now, keeping with the Justice League vibe, I've got some interesting facts from the film that might be of interest to you. Did you know that this film is being released on the same day the animated series Justice League first aired 16 years earlier in 2001? Now, here's another one that you will need to keep awake for. The film is rumored to be 3 hours long. And if true, will make it the longest comic book movie released in theaters. Here's one for comic book fans. Zack Snyder has stated that the film will be inspired by The New Gods comic series by Jack Kirby. And finally, this is the third live-action appearance of the Justice League after the failed TV pilot Justice League of America from 1997 and Smallville from 2001. Now, as always, let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the movie, and remember to subscribe and ring the notification bell to always receive the latest trailers the moment they are online. See you next time.